I haven't got a closing speech, which I'm sure you're all pleased about, but what I have got, which I'm thrilled about, and my colleagues in Times Higher Education, they put together a short closing video. So we'll play the video and then we'll allow Ihron to formally close proceedings. Thank you.
When we greet you in isiZulu, we say, Sanibonani to the collective.
Entitling this little discourse, A University for the Future, a Humanist Reimagines. My observation from teaching in so many universities, and I think this would be universally agreed, is that there is a certain period in which the young mind is very vulnerable.
Universities have to take responsibility for the young people that are being drawn into conflict.
I think it's really dangerous to get into trying to find easy answers to what are complex problems.
Today is a changed paradigm of education. Education is a very important factor in social lifts.
I think it would be quite remiss and frankly quite irresponsible for us to sit on the sideline.
The way to success is to have more international faculty.
Partnerships play a very important role in getting people together.
When we do the networks, we also have to have an African agenda.
It's no longer the case that a world-class university should be comprehensively world-class in every possible discipline under the sun.
Quality is a priority. That is why rankings are important.
Leading national universities, what is their role in the societies that give them life and purpose?
China is now the leader of the BRICS higher education. We need to share our resources and our experience.
You have to really make sure that all of the population has opportunities and that you can really provide adequate education for them to develop very meaningful careers in the future.
We simply do not do enough in the first year of undergraduate teaching and learning to, as it were, lay the foundations for future excellence.
So thank you to the University of Johannesburg for being such outstanding hosts for the third Times Higher Education BRICS and Emerging Economies University Summit. It was a stimulating 2 days, and we are hugely grateful for the wonderful hospitality shown by Ihron and his colleagues at Johannesburg. But our thoughts are now turning to next year, keeping these conversations going, keeping the momentum of this event going. And I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the fourth Times Higher Education BRICS and Emerging Economies Summit will be hosted in Morocco by Mohammed V University in Rabat. Morocco is an incredibly exciting, dynamic, emerging power in higher education, increasingly internationally focused. It's the perfect place for the fourth Times Higher Education BRICS and Emerging Economies University Summit.
We are delighted to host the 2017 edition of the Times Higher Education BRICS and Emerging Economic Summits and let you appreciate and renowned hospitality and share with all of you a great moment of this unique and particular event. So, welcome to Morocco, welcome to Rabat, welcome to Mohammed V University.
At least I can get a minister to sit down, you see. So it's left with me then to say au revoir, to say hamba kakuhle. Our journeys have brought us here. From all over Africa, from all over the Middle East, from all over Asia, from all over Russia, Europe, North America, Latin America, even Australia. Our paths have brought us here for a purpose. We're not here by accident. We are simply not here because of an accident. Our paths have brought us here to Johannesburg, and in particular to this University of Johannesburg that carries the name of this city, of this metro, Africa's most cosmopolitan city. Our paths have brought us here because of the anticipation, John, of the possibility that we have nurtured here of an alternative future, of a new way of looking at what it is to be truly world-class. And so we've explored all of those conversations over these last 48 hours, formally, in panels, through keynote speeches, and of course through the informal settings, which often are far more important than the formal settings. And we say this in hope that you will make Johannesburg a favorite destination of yours. Whether you are visiting the cradle of humanity because we lay claim, Johannesburg and its surrounds, to the cradle of humanity, or whether you come and visit us here at the University of Johannesburg, or whether you co-publish with a peer, or whether you come and teach as a visitor at the University of Johannesburg, or if you choose to join us as a distinguished professor here at the University of Johannesburg. And so our paths have come together for a purpose. That purpose is to go on and to change our world by rethinking our universities. Our paths have come together because of the expectation that there is from our nations that our universities will go the next step on their journeys, that our universities will make the quantum leaps that they need to make in this generation. Those quantum leaps are less and less about excellence in research, less and less about excellence in teaching, but more and more about building the new world, more and more about creating a planet that we will have stewarded better as humanity. That will be the call in a generation's time when we look back to our meeting here in Johannesburg. The question will be, how far have we journeyed our institutions? Yes, to be excellent in research, excellent in teaching, that we now take for granted. But we can't take for granted the idea yet that our universities are dynamizing, in Africa's case, its third renaissance. That our universities are dynamizing the intellectual, scientific, cultural, spiritual, for that matter, economic, social, and for that matter, religious foundations of our nation states and of our regions. I believe when we are able in a generation's time to say, look at our journey, look how far we have come, that we will truly be able to say that our contribution to our world and to the peoples of our world, to our nation states, to our planet, that those contributions will have been fundamental to nurturing the new world and building a new world order. That is the expectation that as we walk from here, that we now have of ourselves and that our nations have of us, that our world has of us equally so. And so as I close off on behalf of our partners, allow me to extend special appreciation, of course, in his absence, to our first keynote, our Nobel laureate, Professor Shohinka, but also to our other keynotes. John Douglas was fantastic, but as expected of an academic, don't give this precise answer, right? Don't give the precise answer, but help us find the path, help us find the way through all of the matrices and the insights that he had given us. So thank you very much, John. To Wim Meister, to Maxim Komiakov, can we give a round of applause to all of our keynotes? To our moderators, to our panelists. In particular, we want to express appreciation to our student leaders, as we were reminded by our minister. Students are not vice-chancellors. They're not deans. They are student leaders. And so we had the special opportunity to listen to them. And so that was a first. And I think the idea that had been put forward of a breakaway session for students is also one that perhaps, Phil, we can take forward into Rabat and beyond. Equally so, we should take up the advice of our young student leader to encourage our vice-chancellors to bring along for those conversations and for that breakaway session, to bring a student leader along. Of course, the self-criticism that we also have to engage in is the gender distribution, in particular of our panels and of our keynotes and contributors. That certainly we have to face up to and to tackle. So very valuable, very exemplary panel that we had with our student leaders. Let's give them a round of applause as well. We also had the opportunity Wednesday evening to celebrate two UJ friends, stalwarts, veterans, I also want to call them, by names of Professor Bertel Anderson and Olokushi. And it was really great to hijack the moment on Wednesday and to be able to recognize these outstanding internationalists. And I think we can give them another round of applause. Thanks very much, Kristen, for making time to come and join us for that purpose. Let me also recognize, I think she's probably left by now, the provost of U21, Professor Redman. Thank you very much for making time to come and join us. Also, university vice-chancellors and presidents. You've heard them speak on the stage. You've heard them contribute as panelists. And it always feels elevated when we do have a significant cohort of vice-chancellors. And so I want to extend special appreciation to our vice-chancellors who have traveled all the way, set aside their diaries in order to be part of our conversation here in Johannesburg. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Our partners in Times Higher Education, Phil, John, Nicola, the team leaders, and of course your teams. This is a fabulous success because of your partnership, your friendship, and because of the excellence that you hold yourself to in the manner in which you put together these conferences. So let's give a round of applause to our partners. Our ministers and former minister. What did you think of this last panel, by the way? What did you think of the last panel? I see a few colleagues here who look suitably unimpressed. But I thought that we had a real honest and open conversation there. I'm certain if we had more time, we could have explored more issues. And so I just want to extend appreciation, in particular to the two colleagues on the on the stage here who sat throughout this conference, who were there at the opening reception or welcome reception and are here to the end. Can we give them a round of applause? The UJ community has also turned out and has provided also good presence, and so my sincere appreciation to all of our colleagues who were able to make it, including our students, and a special word of appreciation to our internationalization team, who also played a critical role in helping us achieve what we were able to put together. Let's give everyone a round of applause. And so that then concludes this gathering. And again, please accept our sincerest appreciation for joining us, for our paths to have met here. And as I said at the opening, your presence elevates us. In honoring us, you have elevated us extraordinarily, significantly, enormously, amazingly, wonderfully. And we are different now that we have found ourselves on this path. And I know that as we leave this place, that we will never be the same again. That we all will have benefited and gained from this extraordinary thing called conversation, and that our human spirits will have been elevated, that we will have faced up to extraordinary challenge. But as I end off by saying that, like the father of the South African nation, I almost want to say Africa, Nelson Mandela put it, even in the face of the greatest obstacles, the greatest challenge, he says, I don't know if it is by nature or by nurture. All that I know is that I am an optimist. Even in the most difficult circumstances, my human spirit shines through, because I remain hopeful, I remain confident, I stay resolved, because I am an optimist. So thank you very much, and all the very best.